Shut up and sit down.
Hello folks, Colin here, Festus 67's workshop, and welcome to Build the Legendary Cyborg ROBOCOP, issue number 44 from our wonderful folks over at Fanhome. Now, if you'd like to build this iconic model from these classic movies, head over to the Fanhome website following this link. It's also in the description below. And take yourself out a subscription, folks. You will not be disappointed. And you too can be building along with me this wonderful model. Right, let's have a quick flick through this week's magazine. Lights, cameras and lots of action. This is all behind the scenes information from the movies. Really are worth a good read, folks. They really are informative. There's lots of bits and pieces in here on the background of the film and how it all came together. Got data files scattered throughout the magazine that gives you little snippets on the technology and things they did to achieve the result in the film. This is what we're going to be working on today. This is the rest of the right thigh, part 9. This is the lock-in and latch-in mechanism for his right thigh, which is going to be used to hold the weapon that's hidden in his leg there, folks. That's where it's going to go on your ROBOCOP. And there's a little highlighted picture there on how this all looks and how it should all hold in place. Okay. So I tend to lay my parts out exactly as the photograph is there. It just helps me see what I'm grabbing, okay? This is all the different sections of the instructions. Anyone that's built a scale model will see this and recognise this type of instruction. So just follow it through step by step, folks, and you too will have no issues whatsoever. And remember this is key, this little hidden button. That's what you're going to be needing, okay? Here's some more details, plates and things, little closing panels to stop the latching mechanism from coming right out, and all the different bits and pieces and components that go to make this. And also, if you notice here, you're now getting ready to attach this to the lower leg, folks, the lower right leg. So grab that as well, folks, from the previous issue. I've got mine just to my left, ready to go, okay? So we're getting to that stage now where the right leg is going to start taking shape. This tells you then what you've got, all the different components going together now to complete ROBOCOP's right thigh and lower leg. Okay, folks? So make sure you check and double check the instructions just so that your ROBOCOP functions just the same as this. Okay. Next up, we're back to food of the future, where, you know, they're trying to have a 3-course meal with 3 pills, aren't they? You know, starter, dinner and pudding, all in tablet form. Interesting concept. Would it feel the same though, folks? I don't think so, but you never know. I would like the Star Trek machine. You know, where they walk up and they go, you know, I'll have a glass of wine and a 3-course dinner, and there it appears. It'd be great, wouldn't it? Different bits and pieces there, transformative technologies, and then people, obviously, that predicted all of this information. This is Mary Elizabeth Lease. And they all wrote and submitted little papers about where the future was going years and years before it actually happened. Very interesting how these people could foresee that. So that's the magazine done. Just going to quickly flick through and go back so that I can lay me parts out for you. And we'll come back, we'll do a bit of assembly, folks, okay? Right, let's grab the piece from the previous issue and just rest that there. Right, what we want now is we want piece 44E, which is this, with the prong on it. And we need to put the spring in place, okay? So this is a 44F spring, so it's the smaller of the two that is going on this little peg, just about there, okay? And this is then going to go into the back of the leg section, okay? So it says take the final assembly from 43 with the front thigh cover pulled to the out position. away from 42A. We understand that, so it's exactly like that. Insert the release button into the back of the compartment under the middle rail. So it's going in here, basically, like there. So that's why this spring is important to keep in place. So just rest it in there. So let's quickly press that in place. And then slide that right over. And see this little peg on the front there? Right down there. That needs to poke through this hole. Okay? So just tilt it. And then give it a jiggle so that this thing goes into that hole. All right? It's a bit tight, but it will go. Like that. Then hold it in place and fire that screw just in there. Like that. And that'll pull that latch in then. Like that. Now you can release the tension. And see what that's done. Because when you press this, what this will do is you'll press this button there. And when you press it, see this pin here? That'll get pushed backwards, and then that'll allow this to shoot across. Okay, so that's what you're after. We'll have a panel that goes on this, that this little line here will hit, and it will stop it firing out and falling on the floor. But make sure that that peg is through that hole before you put that screw in. Okay, don't over tighten it. I literally just nipped it until the screwdriver pinged. That's now in place, so I can rest happy now. Then we can come over to the other side, and we're now putting this little closing panel on, folks. Okay, so we want to put that just on there and line these two holes up, and that will be secured with 2 BP screws, folks. Okay, and we can now put this panel in place. There you go. And that now should let you push that button and ping that across, see? And then it locks in place. Push, lock. That's what you're going to end up with, folks, okay? What you're going to do now is we've got the holder for the weapon to go in, so we can start assembling that now, folks. So we want to grab this piece and this little bracket and put that in place. And it snaps onto the 2 short pins like that, okay? So that sits like so. And then we're now putting the big spring over this long pin there. So grab that, and that's going to sit like so. And again, we're going to now put that and feed that through into this section, okay? So just quickly check your diagram to make sure you're going in the right spot, which is here. And this peg is going into this tube, folks, okay? So that's what we want, like that. And then that's going to get then secured with a DP screw, which is down here, folks, okay? I just want to make sure that that functions, which it does. I can now just lower that, put my screw or my screwdriver, put a bit of oil on it, and we can attach. I tend to dry fit things first just to make sure that they function as intended, and also that I am putting them in the correct place. So it's very easy to go wrong. This little peg here is going in that tube, folks, so that's how I use it to line up. And then the other one I'll instinctively fall through the hole, ready. I can then press it in and hold it in place and put the screw into the component, just like that. Now I can release that with my thumb, and that lets that move about quite happily, folks, okay? That's what you want. We now want to bring in the other section of the leg and start bringing that in so that we can attach that. So we're going to spin this around, and then part of the leg's going to attach in here. Right, so we'll get that in situ. So let's bring that in. And that's going to attach with EP screws, which are these. So I'm going to put one on the screwdriver now so that we can line that up. Pop that in place, just like so. Okay. And then facing away from you, we'll then bring this in situ like so, and the large peg is going to come right through the centre of that leg, like so. Okay, and you're going to be attaching all of this into there, and it's going to mount with EP screws, it says there. All right, let's pop that in there like so. Slide that up and over, pushing your weapon holder just inside the rubber there, so that we can get to these parts just there. See, that's where we're going with our screw. It's a little bit fiddly to get the screwdriver in there. I'm just going to put one in just to hold that in place. I can then oil the next one and then come back and put a little bit of oil in the thread of that as well. I just want to get the leg reasonably in place so that I can grab this other EP screw like that, and then we can start popping this all together now. Bit of oil just in there, line me screw up, and then we can pull this bit to one side and then secure through there into that little ear just there. It's a little bit fiddly to get lined up, but once you've done it, it'll go. Okay, like so. Now I'll come back to that one, and then we can put a little bit of oil in there and home that off now, just like that, and send that in. Like that. And that has now joined that cover to the leg like so, see? And that just lets that do its thing. Okay, that's what you're going to have. That. Turn the page. And now we can bring in the rest of the leg, folks, and start getting this all in situ. Okay, so just spin your model round. This is this section that we want now, folks. And we're going to be bringing this around and attaching it to all of this. Okay, so the key part of this is this button push. We need to make sure that that passes through this and comes out of this tiny little hole just there. Yeah, just there. Okay, quite crucial, that, and important. Just hold that in my right hand just to try and get a better grip, and then I can angle that over there and send that button through the hole, just like that. See it? And there it is. So I'll show you that again. You want to come in at an angle, make sure that these parts here go in between here, just like so. Rest it on there and tilt it. And as you tilt it, just check that that pin's engaging. Okay? And then that is where it's going to sit. Okay? Now you can start looking at your screws, and it's calling for an EM screw immediately to go in here. Okay? It's going down in that section or in that hole in there. A little bit difficult to get to, but you will get it just by moving this very, very slightly. Okay? So I'm going in at a jaunty angle, and I'm going to use the screwdriver against it just so that it pops in place just like that, which is what you want. Okay? So that's beginning to hold that in place. Now I can relax and start putting the rest of the screws in. So let's just grab them. There's another 3 that we're going to be putting in. Let's grab them, get your oil. So we've got one to go in the top there, up in there. Quite deep recesses that they're going into. And then you can just start screwing them home. Just like that. That's the next one. Just make sure my button's operable, which it is. And I'm just quickly checking as I'm putting this together that everything still functions as it should, folks. Okay? Nice big lot of oil in there because we're going into the knee joint now. So these are difficult to get to, some of these screws, but you can get them with the screwdriver. You've got a hole just in here that enables you to go right in with your screwdriver to the screw behind it, okay? And that will let me go right down into that cavity now, like so. And then grab your last one And like you say, they are quite deep recesses, and they will go. And we're going right down in the bottom. Resounding click there as the screw engages in the thread. There you go, and that's now in situ. And I'll just double tighten that with that screwdriver now. Perfect. And that is that leg done. So that is where we're at with that. And then it says, with the outer faces connected by their hinges in the closed position, carefully push the bottom of the rear outer face at the point next to the rear end until the fire closes. Use both hands and make sure the inner 36A connect cleanly, and then check that you can open and close the leg. Okay, so that's open. You're now just going to come round, spin that in place like so, engage that into there, and then press that in place like that. There you go. As you can see, that's in place now. Leg's nice and secure. Buttons protruding right out, and then when you want to open it, just press your button. You'll hear a click, and then you can unhinge your leg just like that. Okay, so that's where we're at with this episode, folks. Okay, so if you would like to build this and build along with dear old Fester, click this link here, head over to the Fanhome website, and you too could be building this wonderful, wonderful Partwork, folks. And as you can see, with all of that gubbins there, it's quite a complex little section, I must admit. It bit me a couple of times and I had to go back and just double check my work, but it will work. And just check everything functions as it should, and then you can fold the leg around like so. There's the little pin there, so give the knee a squeeze, and then give that a good squeeze, and you'll hear the pin click. It might take a couple of attempts. I've put a bit of oil on mine just to help it start working, but sometimes it's easier just to give it a squeeze, click it, and then see whether the buttons come out, because in the locked position the button needs to protrude like so. Okay, so that's where we're going to leave that. Stay safe and well. Remember, click that little Fester in the corner there. That helps me grow my channel, and ring the bell so that you get notified of future content, folks. Okay, so until then, thank you very much for keeping me company. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.